a couple of more seconds until people are getting in. So thank you so much for joining us. For the ones who are already here, I hope you are doing well, having a good time. And I think we will get started soon. So thank you again. Thank you and welcome. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining this 4th episode of our SEO Bytes webinar series, the AI Search Playbook. So briefly, I'm Nisreen. I'm a digital marketing expert at Lionbridge, and I lead the online event at Lionbridge. So for the ones who doesn't know Lionbridge, we are a global leader in translation and localization services for 25 years. And we help companies and brands to connect with their audiences in 350 languages. So we are also at the forefront of global SEO services, helping customers create and localize multilingual content for target markets. So today, we're diving into AI search with our SEO expert, Brendan Walsh, and he'll be sharing insights on AI-driven SEO changes, key focus areas for 2025, and the future of search-related work and how to prepare. So very, very quickly, I will share housekeeping information. So keep in mind that this event is available in 9 languages via AI-generated live captions. So feel free to choose your local language. If you have any issues with that, please let us know and we'll troubleshoot to help you get this right on your site. So the event will last about 30 minutes, the presentation from Brendan, and we'll keep some time for the end for your questions that you may have for Brendan. And of course, if you have questions right away, please feel free to ask them through the questions box that is available underneath the slides. One more thing. So if you don't have time, it will be available on demand right after the event, which is going to be tomorrow, actually. And we'll be able also to share the deck that Brendan is going to present after the event. So don't worry if you are missing it. Everything will be available on demand. So Brendan, let's get started.
Thanks, Nisreen. Let's dig in straight away. So AI and search. The last few webinars have been purely about SEO, but really SEO is changing. I mean, SEO is evolving, and we now need to be cognizant of the fact that AI is involved in the situation, whether it's AI as part of a search engine like Bing or Google, or an AI search engine like ChatGPT or Perplexity. The idea is to discuss how optimization may be changing or evolving, and any changes we need to make from a technical or content perspective. Okay. So, as I said, over the last couple of years, we've seen some search engines evolve to using AI in their results, so like Bing and Google. Bing was the first with AI-powered results and interesting ways of showing attribution, and Google has evolved to having AI overviews in most regions, the EU as an exception due to regulations. But we also see these dedicated search engines, as I said, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and others, and we need to think about how we optimize our content for those engines. So from a Lionbridge perspective, we're seeing a rise in traffic from ChatGPT in particular. We're also seeing traffic from Perplexity, from Gemini, but overall, the main driver of organic traffic is obviously still search. So let's get too, I mean, we need to be cognizant of AI, but we need to also be cognizant of the fact that still most of the organic traffic that's going to come to our website for the immediate future is going to be traditional SEO. Okay. So what is success? So with the advent of AI search, we may need to redefine success. So obviously, you know, AI overviews, answers from AI search engines, these are all likely to lead to a lot of zero-click search results. So, fall in visits, maybe not a fall in visits, but certainly a fall in CTR. And even with good attribution, users are slightly less likely to click through because the answer is presented to them in full. But we're still seeing some click through, so it's not all doom and gloom. Not all top of funnel traffic will be on your website. So users may interact 3 or 4 times with the AI search engine and then finally just click through. Because the information is more kind of full, it's better, it kind of keeps you more engaged. And because this, particularly from a Google perspective, because of this large box at the top of search, your organic results are being pushed further down the fold. So it's going to have that impact in lowering your CTR. But how do we measure success then? If we're not getting as much traffic and we can't rely on clicks as a metric anymore, impressions as a metric anymore, what metrics should we be tracking? Well, I mean, I think we should always be tracking anyway, leads, revenue, things like that, things that will align us more with the sales teams, as well as, just aligning us with what's actually important to the business. But from an SEO perspective, we still want to rank for specific words, specific keywords. There is a correlation between articles which performed for featured snippets and which now perform for AI overviews. There is a link to ranking well and to performing in AI search. Perplexity say that, other AI search engines say it. So it still is important. SEO is still an important thing, and our traditional SEO, making sure that your content is clean and well researched and answers questions. That's all still really important. Okay. But one of the problems we are going to face, particularly in the short term, I think in the long term this will be solved for us, but in the short term, tracking success is kind of difficult. So what I've done is I've just put in 2 charts from SEMrush, which is tracking our AI overview performance. And here you can see in the top chart, on the 30th of January, when I took this measurement, our performance was deemed at 17% visibility for our AI overview keywords. But then if I look through here, and then the bottom one I looked at the 5th of February, and here we can see we're up to 20.59%. But here, the historical data says on the 30th of January, I was at 13.51%, not 16.65%. So what's happening there is the volatility of the keywords that are generating AI overviews. That these keywords change every day. So the keywords today that are generating AI overviews, well, on the 30th of January, the visibility for those keywords was 13.51%, whereas the visibility for the keywords that were actually generating AI overviews on the 30th of January was 16.65%. That's way too complicated. And it's hard then to track consistently over time. So this historical data is incorrect. Okay, there's no question. This historical data is incorrect, but this data here is correct. So SEMrush has limited stats there that will help me understand how well I'm doing, but overall, it's still a useful tool. So does success in AI overviews improve your bottom line? Well, the idea is if a search engine is using your content, then eventually, hopefully, you will get the click-through. So whether it's at the end of a conversation of 3 or 4 questions with the AI, or whether it's at the end of a single conversation with Google and you're clicking through on an AI overview, eventually a user will want to get to your website to convert or whatever it is. And if your content is not being used in AI overviews or in AI search, then you don't have any chance of that. And also from an AI perspective, if you're getting attribution in AI search results, your brand reputation is improving. So, it's important from that perspective. But at the moment, what that really means is a lot of manual checks. Okay. We've got tools that will give us a certain amount of information, but there's still a lot of manual checks that need to happen to make sure that we understand how we are performing. So what does that look like? Well, obviously I've cherry-picked a couple of questions here that I've asked AI search engines. So on the left-hand side, we've got what services do Lionbridge offer? And that's a nicely laid out answer from Perplexity. content creation, translation and localization, content optimization, AI-powered solutions. So all very good, nicely laid out content. Asked another question, what company provides global SEO services along with the language services to support them? Obviously, that's my sweet spot. So Lionbridge came out first there, and other questions just to kind of just keep testing, keep understanding, try to work out is AI presenting your content the way you would expect it to be presented? Are you appearing where you would expect to appear? Is there, is AI interpreting your content the way you want it to be interpreted? So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of consistently testing the same questions over time and making sure that you're performing consistently within that. There is some testing, there are some reports you can run, and like we have a report here which is just a Looker Studio dashboard or report with our referrals from ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, and you can see that at the moment a lot or most of the referral traffic that we're seeing in our own site is ChatGPT. Now this is a few days old, and in the last few days we've seen a huge jump in traffic from Gemini. So Gemini has become, in the last couple of days, our second most referring AI engine, and it looks to be, this is a growth area. So our improvement month on month is about 2,000%. So it's from a very small base, obviously, but it's growing significantly. And if that level of growth rate continues, then AI search will, be far more relevant than organic regular search. But at the moment, it's still just a fraction. Now, technical optimization. So SEO versus, optimizing for AI. Are there any differences, and what are those differences? So we create optimized content for search engines. What's different with like an answer engine? Accessibility. So from a robots.txt perspective or an AI.txt perspective, if you wish to go down that route, but robots.txt is probably the most, is the best of them at the moment, is the best way to address this at the moment, is it allows you to kind of control how your data is used from both an AI training perspective and an AI search perspective. So you can, we say, limit AI training bots from from particular directories within your infrastructure, or and particular, or you can disallow them completely if you don't want them to train on your data at all, and you can allow or disallow AI search bots on your site. So these accessibility options, if you want to limit, obviously, if you don't want to limit anything, then you don't really have to do anything. But if you do want to limit things, your robots.txt should reflect this. To be fair, if you're following SEO best practice, not really too much has changed. Okay, there is some changes, but not a whole lot. I think a fast, clean site with good navigation, optimized media, and interesting content. I mean, that's good SEO. Areas that might be difficult for AI search engines to parse might be JavaScript and things like that, or make sure that your content isn't being obscured by JavaScript. I would avoid using JavaScript in navigation just in case it stops an AI bot, going from one area of your website to another. The other thing that's highly recommended is structured data. So structured data has been a recommendation from a search perspective for many years, and it's been good. It's been good at helping enhance search results with images, with reviews. It used to be good for FAQs and things like that, but it's now probably more useful from an AI perspective, because we're not just looking at enhancing search results, we're looking at understanding entities and the relationships between entities. So that's something that AI can use much more effectively, I think, than when it's answering questions, than search can use when it's just showing you search results. So as I said, search engines may not use relationship data, but AI can use and understand relationship information. If you have a structured data solution in place, revisit it. Look and see, are there any relationships you can include? And remember to look at your competitors. See if your competitors are using structured data. If they are, just be better than them. If they're not, then this is a competitive advantage. So, structured data is going to be an essential part, I think, of any solution for users who want to perform in AI search. Title and description and OG markup, Open Graph markup, will be useful, because if an AI is sharing your content, it's good to give it, a good metadata. It may use markup, because if it's sharing with an image, that will be useful too. So make sure that OG data is also available. If you have a documentation-heavy site, you may consider using an LLMS text file to present your content to LLMs. This can also be used as an input file to an AI such as Claude. So if you've got like a lot of kind of technical documentation and things like that, an LLMS.text allows you to eliminate all of the code and stuff like that and just present the text content directly to the LLMS, to the LLM via the LLMS.text. Will I be paying? Sorry, there's a question in there.
Yeah, I was about to ask you actually, Brendan. We got a question. I think
cool.
You will be able to answer it. So will I be penalized by Google and Bing and AI engines if I create my German website content using AI?
Well, I think the answer to that is it depends. I'm sorry for being so obscure. In general, the answer is no. You won't be penalized for AI created content, but that content has to be useful. So you will be penalized if that content isn't useful, but if the content is useful, it doesn't matter whether it's generated by AI or by a human. The helpful content update from last year, maybe 18 months ago now, it started rolling out, but the helpful content update allows AI content to index or to be indexed and to perform in search, but it just needs to be useful content. And we all know from using AI that you can create content, and you can ask it to tailor that content or to rewrite that, and eventually you end up with a piece of content that's excellent, but 90% driven by AI. So I think AI content is allowable, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily encouraged, but if it's useful, it's definitely something that will be indexed and will perform. Is that okay? Okay, so one of the things I did when I was researching this this deck was to ask Perplexity and ChatGPT how to optimize content for them. Okay, so this is Perplexity and ChatGPT in their own words. So I'm just going to go down through some of these points. And what I'm really looking for here is differences to regular SEO. Okay, focus on high quality authoritative content. That's not really much different from regular SEO. Optimize for user intent. That's just good quality SEO, best practice. Build site authority. I think for most of us, we've been trying to do that for years and years and years with backlinks and citations and things like that. Improve your online reputation. I mean, that's surely at the core of everything we do from an online perspective. Create comprehensive factual content. Okay, so that's, sorry, optimize for organic search. I missed one. So there's a correlation between Perplexity's and Google's rankings. So maintain good SEO practices. Create comprehensive factual content. Beautiful. Structure content clearly. Use proper formatting, headers and paragraphs. Include citations and references. So reference external sources and credible sources. Focus on popular topics and maintain consistency. Okay, so now there's nothing in there from a technical perspective. It's all just about content, but there's nothing new in there for anyone who has been, working with SEO and optimizing content over, the last 10 years. And from a ChatGPT perspective, it's very similar, right? Clear, structured content, headings, bullet points, fact-based and authoritative. Use natural and conversational tone. So that's something that Perplexity didn't emphasize. So conversational, natural language, as we said, we're optimizing for chatbots. So that kind of text or that kind of content is going to work well. Answer popular questions in detail. Now, this is focused on popular topics from Perplexity. I think that's kind of a misnomer, but it's within your topic. Answer popular questions in detail. Provide well-researched answers to frequently asked questions. Include examples, comparisons, and real-world applications. Long form and comprehensive responses. So AI can parse longer form content, understand it more comprehensively. If you're creating a detailed guide, aim for really long form content, and AI can parse and understand it really well. Incorporate relevant keywords naturally, so that's more SEO. And use schema markup, so that wasn't included in Perplexity, but is quite prominent here in ChatGPT. Implement FAQ and structured data to help AI understand your content better. So FAQ schema has been kind of deprecated from search results. It used to generate a nice little box underneath your search result if you had FAQ schema on your web page, but AI is still using that FAQ schema because AI, it's about answering questions. So FAQ schema is still hugely relevant to it. Update content regularly. AI prefers fresh, up-to-date information. Revise content every few months with AI translation advancements, but also just with general AI. I mean, whether it's English or non-English, AI can help you refresh and update your information. Provide comparisons and lists. So that's very similar to something Perplexity was talking about. AI likes structured comparisons and it still likes those clickbait top 5 stuff kind of thing, articles as well. So it's nothing in there really that is brand new. It's just slightly different emphasis on what we would have concentrated on from an SEO perspective. So I think the most important thing to take away from today is that if you're really doing SEO best practice, a couple of minor changes, a couple of minor things to emphasize, like structured data, like making sure that the website is really fast and things like that. But overall, it's the same list of kind of things that you need to target and tackle. So does our approach to content need to change? If the answers to queries are being given directly in AI search results, what type of content will drive traffic to your website? So what I've done is I've gone through AI search results and I've looked for, what type of content from our perspective is generating the answers. Is it our long form content? Is it our short form content? And the answer is it's both. Okay, so we're seeing short form content like our FAQs being used regularly, but we're also seeing our long form content also being used and referenced regularly. If a user is engaging with AI content, you still want to be the source for that content. So investing in FAQs, investing in long form content, both types of content are still going to be important. Ensure web pages are well structured, good headings, short paragraphs. You're optimizing for a chatbot, so dedicate some effort towards conversational content. I think that's kind of something that a lot of websites don't necessarily have, really conversational content. So that's something that to think about and emphasize. That might be video transcripts, but in general, like having a more conversational tone to your content should help it perform more effectively in chatbots and AI-powered chatbots. If you want to perform in a specific search engine, such as Perplexity, I recommend using that search engine for your keyword research and to generate a list of relevant questions. Now, obviously, then you want to validate that keyword research and make sure those relevant questions are, good questions from your perspective. But, if you want to perform well in a search engine, use that search engine for the research or for some of your research. The other thing is when a user comes to the end of their informational journey, which may now be in AI search or AI overviews or whatever, at the end, they still need to convert. And that conversion will still usually happen on a website. So that website may be at the end of a journey that hasn't happened on your website. So they haven't gone from the home page to the category page to the product page. They may have just come directly into the product page. So maybe, maybe to think about if your product page has cut down navigation to make sure people don't escape off that product page, maybe that has to change a little bit. Maybe a little bit more informational content may have to be on some product pages. Well, a lot of product pages will have loads of good informational content, but I see some e-commerce designs where, product page is just about selling the product and there's no navigation and all that kind of thing. I don't think that's going to work, because if that's the end of an AI conversation, then the user may want to validate that information on the local site. The other thing I came across was a report from First Page Sage, who had measured the CTR from the first two AI overview positions and measured them at 38.9% and 29.5%. Now, these are ones of kind of, I'm not sure entirely how long-term or accurate these stats are, but like they're a good starting point to understand that there are click-throughs from AI overviews. AI is not going to eliminate CTR. May not be as good as featured snippets. It may not be as good as the first organic place, but there is still CTR. So that's just something to think about. So there's a question in there about readability. I think readability of AI search results. So one of the things that you're going to have the ability to do with AI is produce content for different audiences, and maybe hold both versions of that content on your site. So although you've got like the question, sorry, maybe I should read out the question. Do you have any insights into the reading age readability of AI search results? Some of our sites have scientific language and we want to ensure that there's an accessible version of this for visitors who have that need. Wondering if AI search results are specifically worded to not exceed a reading age readability. I think one of the things that's going to happen there is an AI is going to understand from your question what level of expertise, or maybe from your conversation, what level of expertise or knowledge you have about a topic and what level of expertise or knowledge you need about a topic. I certainly know that with a lot of prompts, if I'm coming in and I'm green to a topic, I will tell the AI, like, treat me like a 5-year-old who has no idea what this topic is about, and evolve, the conversation from there. Or I might come into the conversation and say, I have like a good strong knowledge of this, but I need more information, and the AI will give me different results for that. So I think the reading age readability will change. I think the AI will provide different readability outputs based on the input. But I also think from a website perspective and from a content perspective, with AI, if you're producing this high-end scientific information, you can also now use AI to summarize that information and provide that information to an audience with a certain level of knowledge. So you can tell the AI to summarize your content for a particular type of audience, and you can publish both of those on your website, or maybe you can use one of those for social postings and kind of promote your content that way. So I think AI is not going to necessarily provide content at a specific reading age or readability, but I think it will provide it hopefully at the reading age or readability that you require from that question. And for our content, use AI to provide that content in both formats. And that should improve your success. Hopefully that makes sense. Duncan, thank you for your question. Okay. Content optimization. Well, what should content look like? Content can be more in-depth. AI can understand context, so give it context. Don't just tell it the fact, explain the fact, the nuances and the reasoning behind it. So yeah, more in-depth information is definitely something that AI will consume and will use more effectively. I think if you've been optimizing your content for voice search and featured snippets, you're probably most of the way towards optimizing for AI. Okay, so a lot of us will have been looking, particularly, a few years ago, at voice search and expecting it to take over, and maybe, looking at questions and answers and that type of content to feature well in voice search and featured snippets. But I mean, if you've gone down that road, you're nearly there. All the usual SEO approaches are still valid. There is a correlation between ranking highly and appearing in AI overviews, but also appearing in AI search like Perplexity. Good metadata is still going to be a factor. It's still heavily used within AI overviews, and either metadata or OG tags will be used when AIs are sharing content. I still see poor metadata throughout like all of the sites that I'm analyzing. And one of the things I think we can be cognizant of as SEO people is AI can help us improve that metadata. So if you've got like 10,000 pages on a website and 5,000 of those pages have poor metadata, this is not a problem from an AI perspective. AI can go in, look at the content, and produce 55 character titles, meta titles, and 100 plus character meta descriptions, and then it's just a matter of uploading them. You should use headings and structure your on-page text well so that it's easy to consume from an AI perspective. And I think if you're looking at your content and you can easily consume it, AI will probably be able to easily consume it. You just need to make sure that there's no hidden code obscuring that text. Well-researched keywords and answering the questions your target audience are asking in each market. I mean, that's something that we've been looking at and trying to do for throughout, but I think with AI, generating these Q&As or specific in-market Q&As is going to be much easier. I think AI, not AI search, but AI in general, I think is helping us to create content that is more appropriate for our audiences, more directed to our audiences. We can have different versions of the same content for different audiences. So AI should help you address a wider audience with different formats of content, if that makes sense. But in general, what worked before is still going to work. I think where it's changing is just going to be our ability to generate more content, more personalized content, and like we were talking about on the scientific stuff for Duncan, is like if your content is very dense and very kind of technical, AI can help you kind of create a version of that content that can be consumed by let's say amateurs rather than professionals in that specific area, if that makes sense. International content, so for multilingual websites. Create strong, useful local content in language and in region that adds value. So what this is about really is understanding that AI can help you create content that is appropriate to specific audiences. Translation works well, and we're a translation company. I have been a translation company, although we're more into, like, I suppose, content now as opposed to just pure translation. But really, this is about making sure that you go beyond translation for your local audiences. You go and you create content that addresses their needs. You do local research. You understand that people in different markets and different countries have different needs. I'd often use the electric car. So if you're driving an electric car in Northern Europe or in Southern Europe, your questions about that car, about how it's going to operate and all that kind of thing, going to be very different. So trying to use a generic set of content to address both markets is going to be difficult. But if you tailor that content and answer those local questions on your local pages, your content will be much more effective in market. If you're targeting just by language, which from a Lionbridge perspective we are, just encourage or consider, not just targeting, we say if you're targeting in German, consider, Austrian content or Swiss content that addresses local Swiss users or addresses local Austrian kind of concerns, and produce content like that within your German section. And AI, should be able to help you tailor that content and make sure that that content works well for those audiences. Local research, local answers. The EU has local legislation. So for any of our attendees today who are based in the EU, we don't see AI overviews. They're not available. Search engines like Gemini, Perplexity, and ChatGPT Search are all available. But the results are slightly different. Perplexity has very different results for product searches outside of the US or inside the EU. So that means, from my perspective, when I need to test AI search and AI overviews and things like that, I have to use a remote desktop connection and kind of do my search from the US or from other markets. So if you're an SEO person based in Europe, just make sure that you have access to US search in the right way, so that you can see how that's impacting your results. Okay, I think I have one more. Conclusions. Okay, so we've come more or less to the end. If you think you're already doing SEO best practice, not much has to change. Okay, keep calm and carry on. Expand your research tools to include AI search engines, but don't abandon your current approach to research. Supplement, don't replace. Okay, so if you're doing your keyword research with Ahrefs, or if you're doing your keyword research with SEMrush or anything like that, just keep doing it. But supplement that by including AI search engines, and then validating what comes out of the AI search engine with your SEO research tool. From a technical perspective, ensure your site is fast, clean, and uses rich structured data. Okay. Measure what you can. Okay. Measure and test regularly to see how AI search engines view your brand. So I think just take time out each week to make sure that for the same search terms, you're still getting the results that you think you should. UGC, so user-generated content is going to be important, particularly with something like Perplexity. Reviews, ratings, Reddit, Substack, all of those things are going to be important from an AI search perspective. Make room for conversational content in your content strategy. AI SEO best practice is not going to have a negative impact on SEO. It's just building on the current approach. And keep researching. We're in a very volatile time from an AI search perspective. Things change. The words that generate answers in Google are AI overviews, and Google changes every day. So it's kind of difficult to track, but just keep researching, keep tracking, and keep learning. I think this conversation is not over. This deck is just the start of how we're going to have to work with and react to AI search. Okay, so that's the end. Hopefully there's a couple of questions. If there are, please pop them into the Q&A box.
If not, the questions can still be sent via the address you shared. I think it's the next slide.
The next slide. If you want to get in touch, SEO@lionbridge.com or brendan.walsh@lionbridge.com. I'll get both of those.
Right. So there's a question. What are the main items, in your opinion, I must do as a digital marketer with an international website to prepare for AI search?
Let me just go back to, I had a slide kind of talking about a little bit. Yeah, okay. So I think for AI search, as an international website, I think the most important thing from my perspective that you can do to improve your performance in market is to answer in-market questions. So apart from keyword research, what I'll be doing here is in-depth questions research. Want to understand is, does my English content or my source content address these local questions, these local issues? And if it doesn't, then that's that's a good content strategy. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of the ability to create local questions and answers to kind of still have maybe the basics or the main points of your content be very similar, but at the end, maybe you can answer, specific in-market questions and that kind of thing. So I think as a digital marketer with an international website, I think the main thing to do is research local questions and answer those local questions. And from that perspective, I think you've got a really good opportunity to perform well in AI search. Hopefully that answers your question, Sandra, and thanks for contributing. Okay. As Nisreen said, the deck will be available after the call. We'll upload it onto the website. And if you have any questions, SEO@lionbridge.com. I'll get back to you immediately.
Right. So thank you for everyone who joined. And again, the deck is going to be available pretty soon. And if you are interested in other SEO webinars that you may have not watched, please check out our website. Everything is available on demand. We also have other topics that we address, not only SEO matters topics, but other interesting sessions. And the next one happening is in March. Please stay tuned. We'll share all the details pretty soon. Thank you again. And,
there's just one final question there, Nisreen.
There's a question. I wanted to tell you there is one more question, so let's answer it.
Okay. For now, from Umi, for now we allow AI bots to crawl our websites, but what areas would we want to block? Umi, I think really that's down to the business. So if you've got proprietary information on your website that you don't want to be used in AI answers because you want the user to come to you for those answers, that's the type of information that you might block. Okay, so if you want, if you've got specific information on the website that's very, very, proprietary to your brand, to your website, and you really want users to come to you for the answers, then that's the type of content that I would block. But otherwise, I would like to be wide open. The more open you are with AI, the more referrals you will get, from an SEO perspective, from an AI SEO perspective. Okay, I think that's it then.
Thank you so much, Brendan. Thank you for this great presentation. Thank you for the people who shared questions. And let's stay in touch for the next sessions. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.